Hey everyone, welcome back to Nothing But NESCAC. Joe McDonald here in Sydney, Australia, representing the homeland today with my colleague Adam Lamont back in Maine. We got a great plan for you. We're going to give you our projected standings for this season and then give you our Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year picks. Adam, get us started.
Well, while Joe gets to enjoy the sunny Australian weather, I'm stuck in frigid Brunswick doing some Greek work, taking a short break from it. So, going to start from the bottom, going up. Number 11, Hamilton. I think the loss of Matt Hart is really hard for them. I think that they would have been a team right in the mix with him. Everything hinged off him. Without him, it's going to be a long year for them.
Yeah, I agreed, Adam. If Xander Ware can't be an impact right away, they're going to struggle this season. In 10th, we think the Conn College Camels are going to have another tough year. Zuri Pavlin's going to be a great player. I'm going to talk about him a little bit more when we talk about our Player of the Year candidates. And Bo McKinley can really make it rain from three. He's a pretty good player. But unfortunately, they don't have a lot coming back. And so they're going to have another tough season.
Bates is going to be ninth, which is sort of incredible considering that each of us put one of the Bates players, Mike Bornasian and Graham Safford, on our all-conference teams. So there's a lot of talent there. Their ceiling could be a lot higher than this, but because of how much they struggled last year, we're going to have to put them at ninth.
And our last playoff spot, 8th, goes to Wesleyan. Rashid Epps is a budding superstar. Harry Rafferty is a very good player. Bringing almost everyone back. They're going to sneak into the playoffs this season just barely.
Yeah, Wesleyan, sort of an overlooked team, but I think they do make it back to the playoffs. And then number 7th, Tufts. Some people very high on them. Joe and I were still a little bit concerned about whether they can turn all that talent into something more meaningful. We'd love to see them put it together, but until they do, we're going to have to still put them down at 7th. But like we said, Hunter Sabetti, Tom Paleschi, Steve Haladina, a lot of talent in Tufts.
Yeah, Tufts, like you said, has the potential to make a run at this NESCAC championship, but unfortunately, we're not ready to have a vote of confidence for them. 6th, kind of a surprise, the Williams College Ephs. Lost a lot last year. We've talked about it over and over again. Some people still have them near the top of the league. I think they're top 5 in the Division III D3 Hoops poll. Unfortunately, I think they've lost too much to repeat that. Again, still a great program. Could surprise us, but right now we have them at 6.
Yeah, a team that could really come on strong, especially as the year goes along and they start to get those pieces together. But a team that really coming in 5th that exemplifies sort of some of the changes in parity is Colby. They bring their entire squad back. A team that beat Amherst last year, made it to the NESCAC quarterfinals, and we both are also very high on Chris Hudnut, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah, Colby, a really talented squad, bringing everyone back, like you said. I think another team that has a potential to make a run for the NESCAC title are coming in 4th place, hosting a NESCAC tournament game, and our prediction is Bowdoin College. Very, very tight between them and the number 3 team. Adam will talk about in a second. Bowdoin making the NCAAs last year. Defensive Player of the Year, John Swords, returning. A lot of production coming back. Brian Hurley coming back. But we do have some questions about them.
The health, for those who haven't checked out our in-depth preview of Bowdoin, the health is what really the season's going to hinge on. John Swords' health is a little bit of a question mark right now. He's having some problems. He's still being able to practice, but we'll see how he's able to do on Saturday, see how he's able to play, and if he's close to 100% or not, and then how he's able to manage that going forward. And Brian Hurley as well is a guy who, coming back from injury, should be 100%, but you hope that he doesn't get worn down and have something go wrong during the year. And so that's why we put Trinity number 3, might be high to some people, but given that they brought everyone back, there's potential for that D1 transfer to come in and contribute as well. So he's a solid player for them. We think that their suffocating defense and rebounding is what's really going to drive the engine for them.
And our number 2 team is the Middlebury Panthers, obviously a team close to my heart. I'm very happy to see them here near the top of the standings. Having watched them the last 2 years, I saw the difference between 2 years ago and last year. some off-the-court issues. I think that's gone. I think that this team is really meshing well in the preseason. So many scoring options from 2 to 5 in the lineup with Jake Brown running the point. I think they're going to be unbelievable in transition, pushing the ball. It's definitely going to be their strength. One of the most athletic fives in the league in Matt Daly. Dylan Sinnixon, a guy I put on my first team all NESCAC. I think he's going to score a lot of points. He can also rebound. He's very athletic, strong, big guy, can defend well. Hunter Merriman shooting threes. I think this is a great team this year.
Yeah, I agree that Middlebury has a really nice mix of talent. But it is interesting for all that we've talked about with terms of parity that at the end of the day, our 1 and 2 teams are Middlebury 2 and Amherst, the Lord Jeffs, come in number 1 once again. Given everything that they've lost over the last 2 years, that might come as a surprise to some. But David George and Connor Green are both players who are NESCAC, all NESCAC caliber players. And then J.D. Dawson and Eric Conklin we expect to be big players as well. And one thing that you have to remember is that the guy sitting on the bench at Amherst could start at a lot of other NESCAC schools freshman, sophomore year. So those guys who are going to step into bigger roles, they should be ready to go. And that's why we're going to put Amherst first. And Joe, for you, what NCAA tournament teams do you see coming out of the NESCAC?
Yeah, Adam, I see 3, possibly 4. I think it'll come down to what happens in the NESCAC tournament. I think Amherst and Middlebury are going to be a lock. I think they're going to do enough in the regular season to make the NCAAs. And then we had Trinity and Bowdoin 3 and 4. I think if those teams win their first games, I could definitely see them in the NCAAs as well. If they lose, though, I think they're going to be right on the bubble.
I think, given the parity of the league, I think it's possible, first of all, that no team wins more than 8 games in the conference, that everyone has at least 2 conference losses. And so I think that's going to make it hard for the committee to put more than 2 teams from the NESCAC in. So I think that only Amherst and Middlebury are going to be the teams who make it to the NCAAs this year. But what I love is that, these predictions, while we're pretty confident in what we've seen, making them, there's so much variability with all the talent that's in the league.
Absolutely. I mean, if one of those teams, Bowdoin, Trinity, or even our 5th-place team, Colby, if they go and make a run and win the NESCAC championship, they'll be in the tournament. You could see 2 at-larges from the league. So it'll be very interesting to see how it shakes out. But again, Amherst and Middlebury are our top 2 teams, and we both think that they're going to make the NCAAs this year. Now, Adam, we promised we'd talk about our Player of the Year picks. We both had similar thoughts about our offensive player of the year, our overall player of the year, I should say. Give us what you thought, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, when I went through it, I settled on Chris Hudnut. He was the only guy besides John Swords who was able to be all NESCAC. Last year, he was on the 2nd team, and I think that he's a really good player. So he's going to really be the leader for Colby. And then besides that, John Swords would have a shot at Defensive Player of the Year. Otherwise, I like another player, but I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, so for me, Player of the Year is a little bit different than Most Valuable Player in the NESCAC, I think. If I was going to pick a Most Valuable Player to his team, I would actually go with Zuri Pavlin. Averaged double-double last year. The team lost their 2 top scorers, both seniors. I think Pavlin could get close to 20 points and still average 10 rebounds. I think he's going to have a monster year, but unfortunately, I don't think so it's tough for me to pick Zuri as Player of the Year. As for my other first teamers, Graham Safford, similar situation. I just don't think Bates is going to do enough as a team for him to warrant the award. And as for Dylan Sinnixon, I think he's got too many other weapons around him. I already talked about that will hurt him in his Player of the Year chase. So for me, it came down to Chris Hudnut and Connor Green. And I think Hudnut is a bigger part of his team's success than Connor Green. Obviously, Green, a great player, had a slight advantage in points last year. Can shoot through very well, shoot free throws pretty well. But Hudnut, 17.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, can shoot 3 a little bit, and also shoots really well from the free throw line. I think if he takes Colby on a run through the NESCAC playoffs, I think he's going to win Player of the Year hands down.
No, though, I mean, obviously, I agree with you on all those points. And then for my defensive player of the year, this is a pretty wide open race, especially if Swords gets injured. A lot of players that you could see come into this usually tends to go to a big man, but I'm going to tab a small forward slash guard, Dan Wall from Williams. I think that Williams are going to have to play a little bit more defensive this year. They don't have the offensive firepower that they used to have. Wall, he can guard anywhere from 1 through 3 or even smaller fours. And so he gives Williams a lot of flexibility down there. He's going to be a big part of getting out in transition, getting steals, turning defense into offense, getting easy points for Williams. And I think he's primed for a big year overall, and he's going to win NESCAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's a good pick, Adam. I think, like you said, if John Swords plays 25 to 30 minutes a game, he's a lock for Defensive Player of the Year to repeat. For me, I had to go with a big guy as well. A couple of guards I thought about were Bates' Billy Selman and Jake Brown, both feisty defenders. Selman led the league in steals last year. But I think it's just easier for big men to get recognized, so you have to be truly outstanding as a guard to win this award. A couple of other guys I thought about. Papadakis of Trinity, how about the big man in the center of the best defense in the league? Rasheed Epps had 9 or so blocks a game last year. Hunter Sabetti, another strong player inside. I think Matt Daly can make a run at this award. I think if he's playing full 25 to 30 minutes a game, he's going to swat over 2 blocks a game. But my pick is David George, 6'8", arguably the most athletic big man in the league. 5.9 rebounds a game last year. I'd like to see a couple more, but 2.58 blocks. So he's a huge inside presence. And basically, like I said, it's going to come down to if he can play enough minutes to accrue those stats, he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
I like that pick. We saw what George can do when Ben Pollock got injured. George just became a defensive force in a lot of ways. Was blocking 5-6 shots a game. Was just really changing games from the interior. And yeah, he makes plays that nobody else can. He just has to get more rebounds, prove that he is the best player, both not only blocking shots but also pulling down boards.
Yeah, agreed, Adam. He really came on strong at the end. That's why I have confidence that he's going to even take another step forward on the defensive end, and I believe he can grab some rebounds. At 6'8", in that athleticism, he should definitely be able to grab a few more rebounds a game this year, and with more minutes, too.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Wrap up our preseason videos in general. We thank you for watching, and I also want to thank Ethan Dragotis, who's helped us out a little bit on these last couple of videos with some of the editing and special features that we've had on them.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Let us know how we did. Let us know where we went wrong, and hopefully follow us all season long. Thank you.